Alright, review part 2, the Radiolink T8FB 8-channel transmitter and the R8EF 8-channel receiver, which I have mounted in the King Kong Tiny Wing 450. The wind out here today is 5 to 7. We'll see how it goes. Let's get it in the air. Whoa, does that take off quickly? See if we could slow it down a little. It's been a while since I've flown this little tiny wing, and I have forgotten at how fast it is and how much power it has. Pretty sweet. See how it works out with this 8-channel transmitter and receiver. It's getting wobbled around a little bit due to the wind, but I seem to have pretty good control with this transmitter and receiver. The last time I flew this, I think, was the with the Radiolink T8S transmitter. Much smaller form factor than this one. Yeah, sweet. Very maneuverable little wing. So this is a pretty good test with a new transmitter. Not bad at all. Yeah. It always takes a little time to get used to a new transmitter, but not too bad. And it takes some pretty good, resolution to fly something this small, this fast, this agile. Sweet, huh? It has a very, very wide flight envelope. That's pretty slow. And lots of power. Not too bad, not too bad at all. I do not think it has quite the resolution that I have on my other full-size hobby-grade transmitters. But definitely has enough resolution to fly something like this. In 5 to 7 miles per hour wind. Not too bad. Stay out of the sun. What do you think? That's not bad at all. Maybe a little more aileron deflection needed. Let's see how it rolls the other way. That was a little bit better going with the torque. Alright, and there's my timer. Let me turn off that timer. I had it set for 5 minutes. Alright, so let's figure out which way the wind is coming from. Oh well, regardless, I want to bring it in opposite direction of where the sun is. In the ditch. I can't seem to stay out of that ditch. I do the same thing when I'm bowling. It goes right in the gutter. But not bad for my very first flight with this transmitter. I've never flown anything with this transmitter before, so that's not too shabby. Let's put another battery pack in it now that I'll get a little more comfortable with it, and we'll test it out one more time with this plane. See you in a minute. Okay, flight number 2 on the King Kong Tiny Wing 450 with the Radiolink T8FB 8-channel transmitter and the R8EF 8-channel receiver, and that was a tight fit in there for an 8-channel receiver. Alright, let's point her in the wind again. Yeah, it'll climb right off the bat in that much wind. Wow, you could really slow that down when you turn up wind. Look at that. Yeah, so, just based on my first flight with this transmitter, and I don't have it all trimmed out. This is just the second time I've thrown this in the air, and the second time I have used, with this transmitter. So I think that this transmitter would definitely be another good option for someone wanting to get into the hobby inexpensively, because at the price point for this transmitter and this 8-channel receiver, and it's a full range receiver, it's pretty inexpensive, for what you get. So I think it's another good option for someone who's wanting to get into the hobby and would rather fly something with, a hobby grade transmitter rather than one of the toy transmitters that you get with the ready to fly models. I think it's another good option. And I think for the price, I think that it would make a good value. Look at that, into the wind. Sweet. Now I have one more plane that I want to test out with it. It's another plane that I think would be a good test for a transmitter and receiver. And that's my Aerobat 3D plane. So if I have time, I would like to get it set up with this transmitter, and they sent me a second receiver. It's a telemetry receiver, but this transmitter is not capable of receiving telemetry, as far as I'm aware. I looked through the documentation again, and I couldn't see anything on this transmitter for a telemetry receiver. So, but I am going to test out the receiver itself, even if I can't, get the telemetry from it for RSSI and for voltage, flight pack voltage. So I think that plane would be another good test for a transmitter, because the huge throws, huge movement that you have on the control surfaces, you need a lot of expo, and some finer control on that plane, just like this one. So I think it would be a good test for this transmitter to see how well that plane can be controlled. But so far, no issues with this. I think that I'd have better control if I had some fine tuning on this transmitter and receiver with this tiny wing. I think it probably needs a little more expo and a little more aileron authority. But not bad. Not bad at all. And this, oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm flying this tiny wing in complete manual mode. There is no gyro in this tiny wing anymore. I have pulled out the gyro receiver brick and replaced it with just a standard the receiver that's paired up with this transmitter. It's just a standard 8-channel receiver. There is no gyro, so it's complete manual mode. So, you know, flying a little tiny wing like this with as much power and agility that it has with this transmitter and being able to do it fairly smoothly in 5 to 7 mile an hour wind, I think speaks for the transmitter and the receiver. Okay, there's my timer again. Let's turn that off. I had it set for 5 minutes again. So let's see if we can bring it back over here and land it, and I'll make one more circuit and see if we can keep it out of the gutter this time. Now, when I landed last time, I put the battery on the voltage meter and I still had 3.8 volts. That's better. That was a better landing. 3.8 volts per cell in the pack, just cruising around and hitting the throttle hard every once in a while. So you get decent flight time out of it with the little 2S 450 milliamp hour LiPo. But yeah, so I think this aircraft is a good challenge. Let's put it that way, a good challenge for a new transmitter. This, you know, because it does require a lot of control. It's fast. It's very agile. It's complete manual mode, and we're flying it in 5 to 7 mile an hour wind. Miles per hour wind. So that's not too bad of a showing for this Radiolink T8FB transmitter. So that's part 2 of the review. Like I said, stay tuned. I'm gonna see if I have time to get the 3D plane set up for this transmitter, and we'll do one more field test with it, and then I'll give you my complete conclusion on the transmitter and the 2 receivers that Radiolink sent me. I want to thank them for that again. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.